going on, everyone? Mitch with SC Weather. Hope you all having a fantastic Saturday. The clouds finally moved out here in South Carolina. It ended up being a pretty decent day. It was still very cool compared to last weekend. Last weekend we hit into the 80s here in South Carolina, but not too bad of a Saturday for really the entire country, honestly. About to show you the satellite imagery here. Not a lot of clouds, just not a lot going on, but we're going to talk about some things because I think some things are going to be able to change as we get into mid to late next week, and eventually will affect the eastern U.S. and us here at the eastern U.S. So we're going to break some things down. Really just talk about what models are showing as of now. We're in transitioning, so things are slow. Things are really slow right now. Weather is just they're just not doing anything crazy, which is good because it's been very active the last several months, really dating all the way back to hurricane season. So it's a nice little break, honestly. But if you guys have not hit subscribe, a great opportunity to do so. It's a great way to support me. I make videos daily, so when we get active here, this is going to be popping. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and I would love to be able to interact with all you guys and get to know everybody. So definitely, if you got anything I can pray about, put it in the comments so I can pray for you, so others in the comments can reach out to you, and so we can all help each other out here. So let's get going here. So let's look at the satellite. Check it out. So right now, there's not a lot of clouds, and this is from Tropical Tidbits. It's a great free site. There's an area where you can donate to these people. It's just a great site for any weather enthusiast or anybody. There's so much stuff that you can access here, but check it out here. The movement is obviously the clouds, and you got a snowpack here. Starting to get later in the winter. It's starting to transition into spring, so you're starting to lose a lot of that snowpack. But huge system could come out of nowhere and reinforce that for sure. But check out our system here, kind of getting off the eastern U.S. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow, a little bit warmer. But I want to show you this. Let's start it off hot here. These are wind streamlines, wind speeds. So basically this depicts where you have a system, where you have energy, where you have wind speeds, where you have a low pressure, where the trough is, where basically the energy is going. We're going into Tuesday. Check it out. It's pretty quiet across the eastern U.S. Then you get some waves of energy here. A trough sets up here and it very slowly drifts further. I'm getting my directional mixed up. Further southeast throughout the week next week. But as that's occurring, you're getting a lot of energy here, and then basically low pressure begins to ride this trough, and you get an area of concern for severe weather. Yeah, baby. Izzy, can you get her a white, please? And then you get an area of concern here for severe weather. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. In fact, the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, really isn't making a big deal out of it at all. But as we get closer, I'm sure we'll get a threat level that does occur. But I think there's going to be a 2-day event, and we've been talking about this kind of area for a while, the 10th and 11th here in the Midwest, that there's going to be severe weather here. I don't think it's going to have any kind of outbreak, nothing major or anything, but there's something to watch out here because I know a lot of storm chasers, including me, are very antsy and ready for something to start popping off here. Of course, when you have late into March into April, you get a lot of severe weather here in the southeast as the jet stream is still kind of low. As you get later into April into May, the jet stream starts to shift consistently more north, so you get more severe weather events more north. So as you get into summer in the southeast, you get more of the convective pop-up storms. That's normally how it works. But so severe weather season is coming. But check out as you get deeper into time. You have to watch out for some kind of winter weather event too in all this. There's a lot of energy getting thrown around here as we get late next week. And then we have to wait, kind of watch next weekend. Will there be some kind of severe weather event? Maybe into the deep south area. I think the energy begins to shift, and that is a possibility, but it's so far out you can't get really detailed. This is the operational European model. It's not very detailed. It's going to show snow and rain basically in a mix. So we get into Wednesday, and here it is. This is kind of the area. It doesn't look very impressive at all if you're looking at it at face value off the European model, but there's going to be an area right in here where you got to watch out for severe storms. You get going in time here. Basically that front begins to dip a little bit further, and what happens with that after that, who knows. But there is some kind of big storm that keeps showing up here for the panhandle of Texas into Oklahoma into Kansas. We got to watch that. That might be a kind of a late season snowstorm. It's not unheard of, though, to see snow in Colorado and Nebraska, Kansas this time of the year for sure. Definitely not. But gotta watch. This could be some kind of big weather event. This looks like a significant event, but check it out here. This is what you have to watch. You get a low pressure here. You get energy right here, and this has the look of basically a linear threat. And what that is basically a line of intense thunderstorms. You get caught in some kind of warm sector. You need a warm sector. Basically, a warm sector is moist, warm air. And you have to really be in that most of the time to get the severe weather and these kind of setups. So, are we not? So, it's so far out, it doesn't really matter. But if you go here in time here, by the way, look how warm this is going to be. As we're getting into Wednesday, widespread 60s and 70s across the southern U.S., it's starting to even warm up. You get all the way up into Maine, and they're in the 40s and 50s this coming Thursday. That's very warm for this time of the year. But look, I mean, this is going to get spring fever. A lot of trees are going to start blooming. They're typical of early season blooms, and the pollen is going to be in full force next week, guys, for sure. In fact, it's getting to me right now. I'm definitely got like a little bit of a head cold or something going on here. Throat's been really scratchy. I don't have COVID or anything, guys, but I think it's just the allergies messing with me. But check it out here. This is you can check it. You can really see it here up next Friday. You can see the differences in air masses. As you get going in time here, it looks like the cold air begins to inch closer and closer. But still in the deep south and the southeast into Virginia, there's still a lot of warm air. But it is getting closer, and there is still a lot of guidance hints showing that it is possible that the second half to maybe late March could be a cold period for everybody in the eastern U.S. But this is kind of the warm sector, if anything's going to occur. But this is past 200 hours out. This is for next Monday, and a wedge might mess that up for severe weather. But it's so far out, it really doesn't matter. But I will show you surface CAPE here. CAPE is an element that you need for storms, and check it out here. There's that little bit of spike in it right up here. It's not much, probably over 1,000 here in some areas, 500, 600, 700 in CAPE. That's pretty low, but if you have a lot of shear, then it kind of offsets it, and that's another element for severe weather. But it's hard to get detailed. We need to get into short range modeling here to really know what kind of event you're going to have here in Oklahoma and Kansas, possibly Nebraska and areas of Texas. But you get going in time here, and here's that little look right here I'm showing you. CAPE starts to build, and that's because you have two air masses really close, and you have something dynamic occurring here. But details are really hard to look at. You look at the Storm Prediction Center 4 through 8 days, nothing's coming up. Even for the event, well, let's see. Let's back it up to day 3 here. See if that's inside day 3. I don't even think it's really showing anything, honestly, here. Nah, there's nothing. So, even for the risk in the Midwest, the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center really isn't showing much. But you look at the GFS here. Here's that first event right there. You're getting into time, and this is what I'm talking about here. You got some kind of low pressure right here. You got a big-time winter storm developing here, if the GFS was to correct. And then you're getting in time, and it doesn't look like much. It just looks like rain according to the GFS. But this is kind of what you have to watch out. You got low pressure up here. You probably have a little bit of warm air somewhere down here, moist air. You getting some kind of severe weather event? Not sure, but that is kind of the look when you got a low pressure on top and you have a big-time digging trough to the west. When you have some kind of big-time digging trough to the west or some kind of upper-level low, a cutoff low, that definitely symbolizes some kind of severe weather event for the east. But this is temperatures, warm week. As you can tell, we're getting into next Saturday. Very warm. We're going to see if we can get a warm weekend. But check it out here. This is the severe weather event possible for around Sunday of next weekend. You got a CAD right here. You got warm, moist air surging ahead of what looks like some kind of front. You got a trough digging here. It doesn't look like there's a lot of cold air. But normally you get some kind of line of storms that could potentially be severe. This is kind of what happened in the Easter event. I'm definitely not comparing this to that at all. But you get some kind of big-time trough digging here. Depending on how that trough digs out west, who knows. But normally when that happens, we get really cool behind that. But the GFS, the 18Z, is really wanting to get cold here as we get into the latter part of March. I hope that's not correct. That would be terrible. But check it out here. This is what one model from 12Z showing, 336 hours out. This is what the next one's showing. So you see how much it changes? That's why you cannot take it serious at all. But we're going to watch this. This is dew points. So dew points are definitely a big time part for severe weather. You need moist air, but man, it is going to be beautiful. You're not going to get a lot of humid air. You're going to get a beautiful week next week. Temps in the 60s and 70s, pushing 80 and lower dew points. It's going to feel like that first fall front that moved through. It's going to feel like spring. But as you get later in the week, you get some kind of cold air damming event trying to fight off some kind of trough. Who knows? It's so far out, guys. But that's pretty much all I got. Not a whole lot to talk about because I can't get detailed about something that's 7 days out. There's no point in it, and it's going to change so much. I don't see any winter weather. We're starting to get deeper into March. We're starting to lose the climate-favored period from winter weather. So we're starting to get into severe weather season. Buckle up. It's going to get active. I'm telling you guys, La Niñas are active. If you go back in past and you know, look at time frames like 2011, things like that, it's going to get active. So thank y'all for still tuning in, the people who are still watching the videos. I understand if there's not a lot going on, it's hard to watch, but thank y'all for this amazing support, and y'all have a great Saturday evening.